Does anybody have a request? If there's something that you would like to go over again, um, some movement or some concept or some meditation that you really liked but and would like to do again, or that you maybe you kind of got it and you'd like to deepen the practice of it, uh, this is the moment to speak up.
Can we do something that focuses on like releasing tension?
Sure, sure. Yeah, good. We'll do that. Okay. Anything else? Okay. Well, good. Well, that's a lot, actually.
Can we do something that will spread peace and harmony throughout the world?
Well, we do that every time. It's sometimes it doesn't seem to be working real well, but I guess you could say that it'd be a lot worse if we didn't. I mean, you could always say that, right? So, um, it's a really good point, and sometimes we can just look at these practices as a little island of sanity, um, that we can let go of uh, trying to make the world be more like we want it to be, which there's nothing wrong with that. Activism, engagement, and we need the flip side of it, which is just finding a way to just be in this insane world. Really, it seems like it's getting crazier and crazier. Um, and I think it is, but at the same time, if you just sort of take a little bigger view, how crazy was it in the Middle Ages? If you lived in some little hamlet in Italy, um, and the 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 ones in the next castle over decide they want to come and kill you and rape you and take all your stuff. And then, of course, there's the Black Plague. Let's remember that. And then the water isn't clean and there's infant mortality through the roof. It's always been so. It's useful to remember that it's always been so. But we've been kind of lulled into sleep because we've kind of grown up in this time of relative peace and prosperity. And that's our normal, and that's what we think things should be. But it there isn't a normal. So um, if we can just take an hour out of the day and just deepen a sense of refuge, really, in the midst of the storm, I think, though it may not directly alleviate the suffering in the world, I think it indirectly does. So, yeah, I completely agree, Todd. And through it all, the birds keep migrating, right? So, um, just to respond to Zoe, all of these Qigong activities that we do are for releasing stress, every single one of them. And having said that, there are some that are specifically designed for that. So, like what we're doing now, we come here with certain tensions in the body, some of which go back to when we were little kids, and some of which just happen today, uh, and they're all here. And um, first, we want to be aware of them, feel them, and then loosen the body, loosen the body. So it's this loosening, it's this relaxing. Don't forget balance, because that's really what we're looking for, isn't it? I mean, a sense of balance of inner and outer, and balancing all the polarities, and having a sense of balance in the body. And even in this little warm-up move, you can lift the unweighted foot as you turn. You know, and that promotes a sense of balance. And so right away, before we even bow to the directions and so on, let's do um, the most ancient for relieving stress. You know, you all know I learned this from my dog. And as I've said, some of you have heard me say this move is pre-human. That mammals were doing their version of shaking to relieve stress long before Homo sapiens came on the scene. Really, this is a great practice for relieving stress because it's just so basic. Now we always want to be aware of the body, that is our sensations of the body, the breath, you know, the rhythm of the breath, and the mind. Those are sort of the three points of awareness, of focus. So when we do this, this automatically takes awareness away from thinking and brings it right into the body, doesn't it? And doing this, we can monitor the mind. There will be less thinking than there would be if we were just sitting in a chair or something. And so we're aware that the mind is empty. So the mind can be empty and there can still be awareness, because awareness is bigger than mind. So we just rest in that awareness. Oh, the mind's quiet. If the mind isn't quiet, if it starts thinking, then put more energy into the body. Do this more intensively. You can combine this with the twist too. You can combine it with the warm-ups, or lifting the shoulders, circling the shoulders, letting go of the neck. So just that, you know, a lot of moves, you know, so go ahead and combine them if you want to with Trembling Mountain. And just get a sense of the whole thing, of the body moving, the body breathing, the mind being empty, and being aware of all that. So this is releasing stress. If you like to visualize, you can imagine like I don't know, um, stuff dropping off, things like falling and shattering or going back into the earth, or if you want to do that. A sense of just letting it go, letting it all go. And if you do this for a few minutes, let your body choose what speed to do it at. And just surrender to it. As long as your feet are firmly planted, it's just fine. And however long you do this for, normally we segue by reducing the movements, and that's fine. You can do it, little by little, do it less. That's one way. Or the way that it was taught to me in the swimming dragon lineage is you do it more intensely as you're getting near the end. Really give it all you've got, sort of. Okay, let's all stop together on the count of 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Now just drop into standing 1 position. Let the palms kind of face each other. Notice the breath. Maybe you can feel the heartbeat. And notice the tingling sensation throughout the body. Not just the skin, but internally as well. So we've activated the energy, the chi in the body by combining it with movement and with our consciousness. Okay. Now, in the midst of this, establish the vertical column or axis. And this is kind of the stillness in the center of the activity. And adjust your posture a little till you fall into alignment. So this is really a practice of suffusion. We've suffused the whole body with energy. So now let's go into radiance. So breathing in through the pores of the skin from all directions. And breathing out through the pores of the skin to all directions. You can count these breaths if you want to, or you can visualize light. So breathing in, lighting up the body, the torso. Breathing out, the light all expands out around the body. And of course, you do this with the breath. The last thing I would say about this is smile a little bit. And this is the smile that of awareness. This is the smile of a body that's much bigger than the physical body. It's the smile that says no matter what's happening in just this moment, it's okay. Just this moment. Okay, now we're going to acknowledge the outer world. So let's go ahead and bow to our first direction. So bowing to the east. Turning and to the south. And to the west. And to the north. And then back to the first position. So dipping the knees. Hands go up, eyes go up. Okay, now extend way, way, way up. Connecting heaven and earth. Okay, out all around. Describing this area all around the body. Okay, bending the knees, bending the waist. Touching the earth. And coming back up. Just relax the whole body. If there's anything tight, just relax it. Okay. So we're bowing here to the directions, the 7 directions. We're bowing to what the Buddhists call the 10,000 joys and the 10,000 sorrows. So we're saying, yes, I know this is here, and I know this is here. I know that's here. I know it's all here, and I'm acknowledging it, whatever it is, pain, pleasure, joy, sorrow, winning, losing, whatever it is, I know it's all there, and it's all here in me. I'm not separate from it. And I'm honoring the awareness of it. Okay. Thus has it ever been. Okay, so that's a routine in and of itself. We talked last time about doing routines, steps. That is a routine, starting with Trembling Mountain, going to bowing to the directions. Um, and it is for releasing. Okay, and now let's just sort of come into our standing posture. Make whatever little adjustment you need to. Okay, very, very good. Okay, and now starting from the top down, loosen up the muscles and the joints. Head and neck, shoulders, circling the shoulders. So if we're finding it hard to deal with the worry, the fear, the anxiety in our mind, it's also in our body, and maybe easier to deal with it in the body. By relaxing the body, loosening it, bringing attention to it, it's releasing that. And the body is working on the mind. If the body's releasing, if the body's relaxed, the mind's going to have a chance to be more relaxed, at least. Okay, and then widening the stance. This is bringing attention to the breath, right? Specifically. Okay, the fundamental way is open up, breathe in, and fold down, breathe out. But you can do it the other way too, as long as you're aware of the breath and moving with the breath. Now, this is a celebration of the breath. This is sort of the dance of the breath. It's the breath dancing. And so there may be a little bit of smiling. Smiling is okay. Now, breath is life. So we're just being one with the breath, with the life force energy that's moving. It moves around all obstacles. Now you can do breathing the stars with this if you like. Filling the body with light, emptying the body. If it helps you, you can count to 4 or count to 8 and repeat. It might keep the mind more open. Okay, let's reduce the movements. Check to see if anything is tight. Are you gritting your teeth? Is there tension in the thighs? Can you sense the heartbeat? Okay. And then now moving down, sort of flexing the hips. So the hips and the legs is the connection between the dantians and the earth. So, and this is the kind of the connection point here. We want this to be loose. I hope when you practice that you do these hip flexibility exercises. You do them once a week at least. If you do them once a week, there'll be great benefit, particularly down the road. Okay, and then that helps with the alignment of the spine. And now we go into the balance. We want to be very balanced on 2 feet. And then maybe something in the news happens and it throws us off balance. And so we're going to sink to 1 foot and be balanced anyway. We can be balanced even when things are rough. We have confidence that we can remain upright. And just bend the knee and sink down a little bit if you need to steady yourself a little. Okay, and then coming back into standing, let's focus our attention on the bubbling wells in the feet so that it's in the middle of each foot, right behind the ball of the feet. It's the corollary to this lagung point in the hand. It's in the foot, right there. Let's bring our attention. That's a connection to the earth. And if the mind is racing or the emotions are wild, just bringing attention to that point, those 2 points. These are actually acupuncture points for treating hysteria. Okay, very good. And then you can let go of your stance. And the abbreviated form, of releasing is just doing this. And I find myself doing this throughout the day, just from time to time. Kind of clears the hands. But now if we want to really, we really want to get rid of something. let's say something happened and it's toxic, and we had some relationship or exchange, or we became aware of something, and we just really want to shoot it out. And there are a number of moves for this. Um, so the hands, so we want to do boat rowing. So the hands come up like this, palms facing, and we're focusing the attention right in the center of the palms, both palms, same as with the feet. Okay, so the hands, uh, and this is taught by Chunyi Lin, and the way he says it is to completely empty the lungs, which of course is impossible to do, but don't get dizzy. Okay, if you get dizzy, stop. So the movement is, so dip the knees, hands up, like this, palms forward, and then we're going to, so there's a push with the hands, and we sit down. And this is one of the few times we breathe out of the mouth. Okay, so you can do this if there's nothing stuck. So imagine drop the attention to center of the earth. So, and then bring that energy up. Dip the knees. In breath, and then we're going to repeat. Oh, people will say, well, you're supposed to bring to mind what it is you're trying to get rid of, you to visualize shooting it out, and that's totally fine, or not. Just moving the energy and with the intention, it clears you out. So let's try doing that again. Um, First, you want to be real steady. Okay, something's really bothering you. Maybe it's physical pain, or maybe it's emotional pain. Okay, and once you get this alignment, so dip the knees, in breath, then relax. We're really creating tension when we do that, and then we're expelling it, and then we need to relax again. And you do this as much as you need to, and as often as you need to. And in one of Ken Cohen's groups, people said, well, what happens to the stuff you shoot out? I mean, if you're in a group doing this, aren't you going to shoot that out and other people are going to get it? And he said, no, it goes right out and down into the earth as compost. Compost, I love that. It goes out as compost. So you don't have to worry about it. Now, after that one, there's a dragon punching. And so this is, so we've released this stuff. And now we're going to bring that up as power. Okay. And so this is punching. A lot of the martial arts punching. So we begin with the fist, that palms up. And we close the fists. Okay. And then when we punch, we turn the hand over so the palm is down. Okay. So this is when the fists are back, then we're ready. So we're going to punch with the right and then pull it back. We're going to punch with the left and pull it back. or we're going to punch with both. Okay, so that's the first part of the move. So let's just slow motion. So punch with both. Then we turn, open the hands, turn them and grab and pull back, and then get ready again. Okay, so dragon, what is this called? Dragon arises from the sea, something like that. So the dragon is these powerful things, right? So sitting down in horse stance, bending the knees, sit back. We've cleared out. And now, so in breath. This is mouth breathing too. This is unusual for Qigong, but this is how it's done. So get ready. So in breath. One more time. Now that move, those movements actually are for building power, just personal power. There's a whole martial aspect to Qigong, which we don't have to go into, but that's part of it where you're just, you can withstand a kick or a punch or an insult or bad news, or you're just building strength and power. And that's really what that is. I don't teach that much, but since we're doing these, and that is building internal power. Okay, so it's not creating kind of armor or a shield. It's just moving this energy, excuse me, and then projecting it out, and then pulling it back in, right at the level of the heart, and filling the body with that. It's very powerful. Maybe you can sense that now. After those two moves, there will come a certain stillness. Okay, so rather than punching the wall or punching the door, or taking out rage by throwing something, this is the alternative that's taught with Qigong, where it stays just in the body, but the energy goes out. If that makes sense. Okay, so all the rest of the time we're breathing through the nose, but when we're expelling unhealthy qi, or we're generating this power, we're breathing through the mouth. Those are some of the very few times we do that. And just check in with how you feel. There may be a little bit of tiredness, a little bit of kind of softness, and a little sort of freshness. We've gotten rid of that. So it's not just about standing mountain. It's not just about being strong and balanced and being able to withstand the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. That's part of it. It's also to be able to be powerful and to project power. And usually, or at least in my training, that's healing power. But it can be whatever power you want, really. And I suggest if some of this really speaks to you, study a martial art, at least for a little while. And that's all about channeling power, channeling chi. Okay, okay, very good. Well, so after that, let's just loosen up a little bit now. If you've done all of those things and you're still in it, just go back to Trembling Mountain. Always just go back to Trembling Mountain. That's the most basic and effective. Okay, very good. Let's go ahead and move into the sitting portion now. You know, and again, we don't just sit down and we're ready. Just go ahead and you know, move a little, relax into the body's in a new posture now. Just let it come into that. For this meditation, let's do the Laogong, the fingers touching the thumb, or any other mudra where your hands are together. Let's not do like palms up or something. But this is, the hands are considered together in this, or in this, or in this, whatever you like. But we want to keep the focus internal. Okay, so let's reestablish in your body with the spine and so on, reestablish the vertical posture in the body and in the mind. And so we use the mind to move our attention anywhere up and down that vertical axis and visualize the column or the laser beam, whatever, the connection from the center of the earth straight up through the body, out the top of the head, up into the universe. So we're aligning body and mind. They're both doing the same thing. Now, many of you have heard me talk about this for years. This column, we visualize it as light or whatever, but it's actually, the column is conscious. The spine is conscious. The nerve endings, conscious. This connection down to the earth, which is conscious, and up into the universe, which is conscious. So this thing that we're visualizing is conscious. In fact, it's visualizing us in a sense. Okay, very good. And now, so we're aligned. And now we can move our attention. You can move your eyes if you like. And looking way down, feeling and imagining roots going into the earth. What would it feel like? And bringing the attention up the body, the legs, the belly. Turning the eyes inward, looking back at the body. Moving up to the heart, up to the head, the brain, up out the top of the head, way, way, way up. And then go up there and look down. So the body's sitting down there, and there's this vertical sort of tube or whatever. Now, the next step here is that this channel, this tube, is empty. There's nothing between the earth and the heavens. So you can look straight down it. It's empty. Okay. So if we breathe in up from the earth, that energy comes up through this empty tube. Breathe it out the top. Breathe down from the top and out into the earth. So the body can be sensed as, a presence, a tingling or light. And this central column completely empty. So if we imagine now doing, say, a tree in spring, hands are pointing down, we breathe in from the chi from the earth, pointing to the center. It goes up, 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 straight out the top, expresses all around. Out breath comes down and describes this field around this empty column. Breath moves the energy through from the earth up, 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 way out, way up, and down all around. And then the whole being is just this field of light or energy consciousness with this hollow center. And then just let go of any image, just breathe. And now just imagine doing tree in autumn. So this is where the field around the body dives down into the top of the head, goes down to the earth, Okay, comes back up, around, dives back down. Yeah. So the name of this shape is a torus, Torus. So there's this emptiness, empty column in the middle, and this vibrant field that keeps moving through it. And then finally, just let go of that visualization. And just let the breathing happen. You may tend to smile a little bit. So there's this sense of a big self, of a big body that's not solid, much bigger than the physical body. And we can just rest in this big body, in this big awareness. And so all phenomena are unfolding in this bigness, in this awareness, coming and going, joy and sorrow, pain and pleasure, gain and loss. All unfolding moment to moment everywhere in this vast space. Okay, let's take a few more breaths. And then when you're ready, sort of loosen up again. Okay, this refuge does not make us immune to anything, doesn't distance us from anything. It just gives us a place to be, a way to be in this world. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and clap our hands one time. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Make heat. And then massage the face, eye sockets, temples, forehead, scalp, ears. kidneys. And massage the kidneys. Okay. Well, thank you so much for showing up. Thank you for your practice. It does benefit all beings in subtle ways. So, have a good night, have a good vacation from Qigong class, and if you want to stay and discuss, please do so. And if you would like to fade off, please do that. It's fine.
Thank you very much. Happy June until I see you again, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, Stephen.
Okay, great. Thanks for showing up. See ya. Todd's going to have dinner.
Yeah. Carolyn wanted me to tell you that she's having trouble with her battery on her computer, I think. Had to rush over to Best Buy at the
Oh,
last. Want to make sure I told you.
oh, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it, Suzanne.
And thank you too. And you have a nice hiatus.
Yes, thank you. Will
And
do.
I'll see you when you.
Yeah, my family's all coming
Oh,
from
wonderful.
faraway places. So
Oh, great.
yeah,
Got it.
yeah.
Good. Okay. Good night. Thank
All
you.
right, night. So any questions or comments about any of that? I hope we got some depth on releasing,
I feel really good.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate what you're talking about. The movements are kind of pre-human. That really is
Yeah.
beautiful and very helpful because the trembling stuff is very, very beautiful and very helpful. And I mean, I feel encouraged to do that more. I really
Yeah,
do.
and it's so easy to do it, and even if you just a little bit. I mean, if you're driving a long time and you stop at a rest stop and get
Yeah.
out, whatever it is, just to release that. And yeah,
Yeah.
all of Qigong comes from nature. It's
Yeah.
very old and really shamanic, and that I think is the most basic. I mean, that's
Mhm.
before being bipedal. I mean, that's before standing upright.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I guess it's been proven to work.
Yeah. Yeah. Feels like very primal dancing in some way.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the people dancing, we've really kind of lost that. But I think that's what that dancing does, really and truly. And you're doing it with other people, and um, uh, I do miss meeting in person,
Yeah.
because there's a certain feeling when you're in a group and you're doing these things that you don't get when you're doing them by yourself, but it's still very effective.
It always
Mhm.
reminds me of like dancing also and being like at a Grateful Dead show.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last bit.
It reminds me of dancing and of like being at a Grateful Dead show.
There you go. It's cathartic release.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
a question about the punching thing and I was wondering when you do that, so you're like you exhale it out and then do you inhale,
Yeah.
grab, inhale,
Yeah.
exhale, and then inhale it back in?
Yes. Well, you just follow the breath. When you punch out, you breathe out.
Yep.
And in some martial arts, you'll make a sound.
Yeah.
You'll go ha, whatever, because that's an out breath. And then when you grab, that's an in breath. And you're pulling it back in. You're filling yourself up.
Okay, so it's just two breaths, like exhale and one big inhale.
Yeah, that's how it's taught. I mean, you can adjust it as long as you're aware of the breath and you're doing it with the breath. It doesn't, I don't think it matters
Right.
what pace you do it at. But yeah, that's an in breath when you're pulling it in for sure. And
Yeah, I
it's
didn't know if you were doing something like an extra, like this was like the exhale and then like an inhale, exhale, another one,
yeah,
and
and
then
that's fine.
whatever.
Yeah, no, that's fine. You can certainly do it. You can, yeah, that's fine. That I can't explain that. This grabbing thing and pulling back. There's a couple of moves in Qigong where you do that. You kind of grab and pull back. And I can't verbalize what that is, but that's the way it's taught.
Mm.
It feels good.
It does. I don't know. You're making a fist again, I guess.
Hmm.
You let go and then you make it again. And then you kind of, they call it reload. um, yeah, yeah. My sister taught me some about that. She's a martial arts instructor, and that's that kind of punching where you do that, and then you exhale. It really is releasing. You know, I'm not a big fighter myself, but
Well, I think it's acknowledging in physical form for me the anger and fear that is naturally in my human body.
yeah.
I'm not trying to get rid of it. I'm just trying to acknowledge that it's very powerful emotions and it's there.
And you're doing it in a non-destructive way.
Exactly.
You're giving vent to it,
Yes.
but it's a way it's empowering. Yeah, I guess that's well put. Yeah, I think that is what it is.
I'm not trying to push away anger and fear. I'm just saying it's here,
I'm
release,
expressing. Yeah,
expressing it. I'm acknowledging it, you know.
oh, that's good. Yeah, that's what it is, isn't it? It's like aggression, and
Yeah.
we're not being all airy fairy here. Where this is here, and I'm really pissed off about this, and yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Thanks for
Yeah.
understanding. Thanks for saying that. I think that
Yeah.
is exactly what that is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because aggression is such a like sort of frowned upon emotion, and
Yeah.
which is, but yet we all have aggression in our bodies, so it's a really
Right.
safe way to express it, um, experience it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you listen to the news of, young male shootings, and it's like we need to cure male aggression. Well, it's always been here. It's always going to be here,
Yeah.
How do we acknowledge our own aggression? I don't want to shame myself for having strong feelings.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. And this is in Qigong. It's just I teach what I've learned and what I've experienced. And there is a martial form of Qigong that's very old and very powerful. It's called Iron Shirt Qigong. I've studied it a little bit, but not to teach it. Where you're just developing this ability to be incredibly balanced, strong, stable, and be able to withstand a kick or a punch or any kind. And then there's this projection of chi that I have experienced coming from masters, where they say it's supreme ultimate. Tai Chi means supreme ultimate. Tai Chi Chuan means supreme ultimate boxing or fighting. So what the masters can do is when someone comes at them, they can just stop them without touching them. And I say it because I've seen it and experienced it can be done. But you got to be operating at a pretty high level to be able to do that, So, there are martial forms, and if you're interested, just Google Iron Shirt Qigong and see what there's books on it. I know I've read one of them.
Yeah, I just when you said that, I thought I think we have that book, and I looked on my shelf, and there it is, looking right back at me.
Mantak Chia.
Yeah.
Yeah. He teaches the martial forms of it, which was originally what it was. Yeah, and yeah.
I
This
bought
is
that book. Yeah, I bought it for my husband years ago. I mean, over 20 years ago, I think. It's just been sitting there. I'll have to dust it off and
It's very esoteric. They talk about packing the chi, and you pack yourself, and you make yourself really strong. Todd, did you know Ed Selnicker?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Ed studied in Taiwan with a Qigong master, and Ed was not a liar. I mean, Ed was, and he told me stories about this teacher that he had. And his teacher said, okay, his teacher was small, Ed's big. His teacher said, okay, lift me up. And he took a stance, and Ed could not budge him. As hard as he tried, he was a young man, he's in his 20s. As hard as he tried, he couldn't move him. And then he said, okay, step back. And he said, okay, now pick me up. And he came over, and the guy was as light as a feather. And he just picked him right up, because he had developed the ability, don't ask me how, but to do that, And he said it's just controlling the chi. So and he was an old man, and we're talking like 50, 60 years ago. So that was really ancient practice. But yeah, there's a place for all of that in Qigong, and it's in the martial arts.
did he study with Don Coleman?
With who?
Don
Oh,
Coleman,
no.
different lineage.
Don is a really close friend of mine, and no, this was a different guy. This was a guy in Taiwan. I mean, there's so many, but
Yeah, no, I meant like, was Don also a student of that same man? Because I think Don studied with someone in Taiwan also.
he did, yeah, in California.
And
Yeah.
that name Ed, that rings a bell for me. So I just wasn't sure.
It's probably just a trick they've learned how to do, It's kind of a parlor game, or something. I don't know. But yeah, Don studied with him too. And he studied martial forms. That's really true. Although he didn't really, I don't think he really taught so much for people for self-defense. I think he was more teaching for wellness and flexibility, but he did study it. Yeah. And Ken Cohen, who Todd's met, he's a martial artist. He's a Qigong master and healer, but also a fighter. I mean, he was very into it. So Kevin, I mean, if it appeals to you, I'm probably not your guy exactly, but there's people out there who can really take you into that.
I've always had a negative attitude about martial arts, so now I'm learning a different attitude about it.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of different kinds.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, well, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
And yeah, have a good night. See you in about a month. I'll send out an email. It's going to be the same link. You don't have to change anything. I'll send out an email reminding that we're going to be doing it.
Be well,
Thanks.
everybody.
All
Be
right.
well. Be
All
well.
right. You too.